Hello and welcome to Relatively Crafty, a knitting podcast. This is episode 42, 43, one of those. My name is Cristi. You can find me on Ravelry as Cristi-Lael and on Instagram as Cristi-Lael without the dash. All that information will be down in the drop box below. And I'm coming to you from the Denver area of Colorado, where I live with my husband Ron and our two daughters Tatum and Delaney, who are 12 and 9 respectively, and our new foster cat Lilu, who may make an appearance today. We'll see. I am on the floor in my library / knitting / guest room, because it's been really overcast today, and if I sit where I normally have been sitting, I'm in the shadows. However, the sun has just decided to come out, and so all of a sudden it's really bright. So this may be a poor idea. But regardless, I am on the floor, and that's the way it's going to be for today. So anyway, we have a Relatively Crafty podcast group on Ravelry where we have knit-alongs and giveaways and chatter. We just ended our summer solstice knit-along, which went from June 21st, which was the beginning of summer, until September 21st, which was the end of summer. And we have just started our autumn Accoutrements KAL, which is the new KAL that we are having, and I want to thank Sarah for the awesome name. I love the word accoutrements, and I will be saying it every single time with a crazy French accent, because that is who I am, and you have to accept me for me. Anyway, that KAL is going from September 22nd until December 21st, I believe, which is the entirety of autumn. And the idea of that KAL is just to simply knit all of the accessories that you would like to knit. Hats, gloves, shawls, scarves, cowls, mittens, arm warmers, leg warmers, boot toppers. The only things that aren't included are socks, because we've just had a 3-month KAL for socks, and sweaters, because waist or torso covering garments don't really count as an accessory. So knit all of the accoutrements that you would like to knit. The sun has gone behind the clouds. Maybe that'll need it to stay just like that. This would be a great opportunity to knit Christmas gifts, because, as I said, it goes until December 21st, which is only 4 days before Christmas, so you would have a great opportunity to get a lot of Christmas gifts knit. And as far as entries for prizes, basically anything up to 399 yards counts as one entry. If you knit 400 plus yards, it counts as 2 entries. So most things are going to count as a single entry, like hats and gloves and whatnot. Those are only going to take up 200 yards, maybe 300 yards, but larger shawls could take 400 plus yards. So I want to give people who make larger shawls an opportunity to get a little extra something for putting in that little bit of extra work. So that has just started. I have opened up threads in the Ravelry group, and I encourage you to go in there and chatter and start knitting your accessories, because it's going to be a good KAL. I'm very excited about it. And, one more thing. There will be no whips allowed, simply because this is going for 3 months, as I said, and it does not take very long to knit a pair of fingerless gloves or a hat, so I figure you probably have enough time to start and finish at least one project within the next 3 months. Okay, so we do have some prizes to give away today, don't we? Yes, the Summer Socks KAL ended, on Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, and so I have 3 prizes to give away. I've awarded 2 of the prizes with random number generator, and the 3rd prize is just kind of like my favorite socks, and so I've gone through the FO thread and picked out the ones that I thought were particularly awesome. Now, I want to say that every pair of socks in the thread were awesome. I loved every single one of them. I looked at all of them. I clicked everybody's love button. I really, really enjoyed seeing all the sock FOs. There's some patterns that I have added to my queue. There are some new dyers that I've added to my want to buy soon list, and yeah, I've just really been impressed with everybody's socks. So good job, everybody. You all deserve an amazing prize. And honestly, if I could give every single one of you a prize, I totally would. But have we talked about the fact that I'm an unemployed student? That makes me sound so pathetic. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and award the prizes. I will go over what I have first and then let you know who won them. So let me grab those. Okay, so we got everything. I'm ready to go. For the chatter thread, we have this gorgeous quilted extra large flat progress project bag that was donated by a viewer, and it's super duper awesome. It's got gorgeous, well, you know, I've gone over it, yeah. So there's this bag, and then a skein of Yarn Cafe Creations in the Castle on a Cloud colorway, which I purchased as a prize. So you get both of these. And for the chatter thread, we had 315 different posts. So you guys were awesomely chattery, and I appreciate that. So I did a random number generator, and the RNG Gnome picked post number 76. Yes, 76, which belongs to Christopher CB, who is Topher in Washington. So Topher, get a hold of me and give me your address, and I will mail you out your yarn and your bag. And yeah. Next, for the FO RNG thread, we have the most adorable bag. I love this bumblebee bag that was donated by Fat Girl Sewing. Thank you so much for your donation. And inside is a little satchel with a stitch marker and some tea. And then Carrie at the Creative Obsession also donated this gorgeous skein of her lovely sock base in Ariel, which has just got all these colors. And the FO thread had 221 different FO socks. You guys are awesome. I can't believe that we had over 220 different socks knit for this KAL. And the random number generator picked Susie Q, who is Sue in New Zealand. So Sue, get a hold of me, and I will get your bag shipped out to you ASAP. And then I had one more prize that I wanted to give, and it is a little drawstring project bag that my Aunt Kathy made. And inside is a donated skein of barmaid knits in the Earl Grey cocktail colorway, which is on her drunken sock, which has gold stellina in it, and it also includes the recipe for the Earl Grey cocktail. And I went through and I looked at all the FOs to find, you know, like my favorite, and I put it in quotations because, good grief guys, there were so many awesome socks. So many awesome socks in the FO thread. I don't know if anybody has ever gone through and looked at all of them, but there's a bunch, just a bunch of really, really great socks. I do have kind of like honorable mentions, I guess. There's about 10 pairs of socks that really stood out to me. I want to kind of go over those really quick, and I'll post just a picture of the sock that they post in the thread. Mia Pavita posted a test knit that she had done in post number 10, which was the Spattergroit pattern, and I just love the way that those worked up. I'm not normally a big fan of patterned socks, but I actually have considered making that pattern because of how good Mia's socks look. Zoe and Cthulhu Loves Me. Zoe's in post number 58 and Cthulhu Loves Me in post number 62 both made the Cantiletar colorwork socks, which were gorgeous. I absolutely love that pattern, and I love what you guys did with your colors. Then there was, and Zoe also did the mosaic marble socks, which is another type of color work. That's on post number 126. Loved those. And then TS818 in post number 84 and Cthulhu Loves Me in post number 103 both made socks out of handspun. I really love the look of socks knit out of handspun. I'm going to have to, I don't know, learn how to spin or become friends with a spinner, somebody I can convince to spin me some sock weight yarn, because I just love the look of hand spun socks. They're just so gorgeous. D Bumplin, in post number 192 made some really cute opal socks with bright orange contrasting toes, heels, and cuffs, and I just absolutely love that she just like went all out with that orange, bright orange. And then Nicole S, post number 177, did the Inconceivable sock pattern, which is like a single twisted cable all the way through, and then like the rest of the sock has twisted stitches as well. So it was a really pretty color, like this beautiful like burgundy color, and just these gorgeous twisted cables all the way through, kind of like a Cookie A type of a pattern with the single stitch cables, and I just absolutely love the way that it looks. And then lastly, I have the Mystery Sewer in post 202, who did a candy corn stripe sock, and I think I'm just really attracted to these because, you know, autumn is here, and I'm super excited about candy corns in general. But she also used some really funky color for her heel, and I just love it when folks use stuff that isn't an obvious match, and it just looks so rockin' awesome, in my opinion. So those are all socks that I was really impressed with, but I have to say again, I loved everybody's socks. There were so many great socks in the FO thread, and I had such a hard time picking 10 to mention, much less the one to win. But in the end, I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Heike's socks in post number 39. She did some scrappy colorwork socks, and oh my goodness, guys. These are amazing. I need to make myself a pair of scrappy colorwork socks. She just picked different, well, I'm assuming she picked different motifs and just put scraps together and made these socks. You can see them right now, as long as something hasn't bad happened, and you can just see how awesome they are. So, Heike, you're going to win this prize package, so go ahead and get in contact with me, and I will get this shipped out to you. And Heike is in Russia. I didn't say that earlier, but I'm assuming I have pronounced your Ravelry name correctly. Heike, Hicka, I'm not sure. Anyway, get in touch with me, and I will send you out your prize. But I did have two more honorable mentions, and they are both by... the first one is made by Ron, who in post number 27 posted her first ever pair of socks. So congratulations! I'm so glad that you that my KAL helped you to make a pair of socks for the first time. I hope that you really love them, and I hope that you enjoy the process and will continue to make them. And then the person who made the most socks for the KAL is Deb W Loves to Knit, who like Made by Ron, made her first ever pair of socks for the KAL, and then proceeded to knit 13 other pairs. She made 14 pairs total for the KAL, and so, Deb, that's amazing. Wow, you blow my mind. The fact that you had never knit socks before, and now you've knit 14 different pairs. So, awesome. Congratulations. You rock. So proud of you, but proud of all of you guys, really. Thanks for participating with me and making this such an awesome KAL. I'm really hoping that our autumn Accoutrements KAL will be as awesome as our summer socks does KAL. So, okay, that is not the end of administrative, because I do have one more giveaway that I wanted to announce. A little while ago, the ladies at A Single Strand got a hold of me and asked if they could donate a bag as a prize for the podcast, and I was super excited about that, because if you haven't gone to their shop before, their bags are awesome. And so this is the bag that they donated. Look at that. Is that not amazing? It's a whole Route 66 bag. It comes with this a nice handle with a ring that you can use it to attach to things. It also has a little ring down here for progress keepers, and there is a progress keeper included. It is a little dream catcher. The bag is a nice size for a small sweater or a two-skein project like a shawl. And on the inside, I don't think I ever opened this before, the inside is knitted fabric. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Oh, that's so cool. I'm a little bit jealous of whoever wins this bag. That is so cool. So anyway, I am going to host a giveaway in the Ravelry group. I am going to post a thread just for the giveaway of this a single strand studio bag. And what I'm going to ask is for you to go and check out their shop and just tell me the thing that you like the most in their shop, and that will be your entry. Remember that you need to be a member of the group, and you need to have subscribed to my podcast in order to qualify. And I will do a random number generator on next week's podcast. So make sure you go in and check this out. And thanks again, ladies, for the awesome giveaway. Okay. So that is the end of all of the administrative stuff. So now let's talk about knitting. So we can start with what I am wearing. This is my Twillingate by Laura Ayler that I knit earlier this year. I think it was the second sweater that I knit. Yeah, the second sweater that I had knit for the year. And I'll post a picture of me wearing it. Autumn has come to Colorado, apparently. It came with a bang instead of a whimper, and all this week coming up and the several days past, we have had very chilly weather, and I have needed to put on hand knit socks and hand knit sweaters. The sweater that I was wearing last week, my Battersley Hall, I have worn that most every day because it's just been cold, and so it's been nice. But anyway, I knit this out of Universal Deluxe Worsted, which is not the softest yarn, and so this is just kind of like an over vest, I guess. It does have short sleeves, but it's comfy to wear over a long sleeve shirt, and yeah, I like being able to wear my hand knitted items. Honestly, I'm absolutely loving this weather. It can stay like this for a long time, in my opinion, especially since I was looking and all of my friends in California are hitting 97 degrees this week, so I love Colorado. So, that's what I've got on. Now let's talk about what I finished knitting. I have a couple of FOs to show you. The first one is my socks. This is my Desert Vista Dye Works socks for September. So this is the 9th pair of Desert Vista Dye Works socks that I've knit this year. And the colorway is DVD logo. So all of these colors are in the Desert Vista Dye Works logo. I thought that was kind of cool, and I love, 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 love these colors. I love how autumny these socks look. I finished them on the first day of autumn, which I thought was rather apropos. And, you know, the way I've done them is the basic way that I do all of my stripy socks. I started with the Turkish cast-on toe up, did an afterthought heel, and then did 1x1 ribbing until I bound off with Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. These were super fun to make, and even though I've kind of been feeling the desire to knit sweaters all the time and not so much with socks, I still was able to really enjoy knitting these. So, so yeah, super duper duper fun. Yeah, I guess I don't have a lot more to say about those. They're socks. I knit them. They're done. I have 2 more FOs, and they are sweaters, but they're tiny wee sweaters, so so they didn't take very long. In fact, I knit the first one in a day, in an evening, and then I knit the second one over 2 evenings. Amber at the Yarn Junkie podcast is pregnant with her 3rd daughter, and I really like knitting baby sweaters for people that I care about that are having babies. And I've been watching Amber's podcast for a while. She's in Texas. If you haven't seen her podcast, you should definitely check it out. And I know I can kind of commiserate with her having wee ones in Texas when you're a knitter, because the weather is a lot warmer there. They don't have much of a winter, and they have long summers, just like we did back in California. And so I can kind of commiserate what it's like, because when Delaney was a baby, I was a knitter as well, and there wasn't a lot of wool sweaters that I could make for her at that time. So there is this pattern that I absolutely love making for babies in warm weather environments, and it is called the Entrechat by Lisa Kemery, and it's a little shrug. Isn't it adorable? Okay, so I knit this out of Madeline Tosh Vintage in the Holly Festival colorway. It was a skein that I had in my stash, and I thought it would be great for a little baby garment. It has, it's like a cream base with just all of these bright speckles. There's orange and green and blue and pink and some purple in there and a little bit of yellow. And I just thought it would be really cute in an entrechat. I have knit this pattern, I think this was the 6th time that I'd knit this pattern, because I just absolutely love it for little baby knits. It's perfect to go over a little dress, or, you know, a little outfit. I've knit this pattern for my daughter Delaney. When she was older, I knit it, and it looks so cute on her. She would wear it with like a tunic type shirt, and she just looked adorable in it. And so yeah, I made the 3 to 6 month size because Amber is due in December, and I figure that by the time she fits into this, then it should be warm enough for her to be able to wear it over a little sleeveless dress or another little outfit. I would think it would be cute over dungarees, honestly. So yeah, it's got a very interesting construction. I don't want to give too much away, but you knit. It's just got a very interesting construction. I would highly, highly recommend it. And the pattern is well written, and it's easy to do, and it knits up very fast. As I said, I knit this on Saturday evening. I started it right before dinner, and then I finished it before I went to bed. So, and I went to bed by midnight, so it wasn't like it took me, like I was up until 3 a.m. Yeah, it's just really, really nice and interesting and easy, and you follow the pattern pretty easily. There is this really cute, let's see if I can get that, textured stitch here on the waistband, or the band. It's not really at the waist, so I can't call it the waistband. But I think it adds a lot to the sweater, and you can see how nicely those little speckles pop up in this pattern. I absolutely love it. And then I added this wee little button, which has, you know, orange and pink and yellow in it, which kind of goes along with the speckles in the sweater. I'll give you a little bit more detail of the sweater. But yeah, super cute, super easy, super fun, and like I said, I've knit it several times, and I will continue to knit it. Honestly, I think that I would probably make one if she made it in an adult size for myself. And I used up about 65 grams of the yarn, and I had about 45 grams left. And there is a friend at my knit shop who is having her first grandbaby. Well, her daughter-in-law is having her first grandbaby. And so I thought I might put together an extra one for her. So I didn't have quite enough left in the Holly Festival, but I did have a scrap in Napoli. And so I made a second one. I made the same size, so that I'm not exactly sure when the baby is due, but I think she's due in the winter, and I figured that that the 3 to 6 month size means that she could wear this in the spring. She could wear it over a long sleeve dress, or she could wait, you know, until it gets a little bit warmer. We do get some warm weather, and so yeah. So I used the Napoli for that textured band, and I think it came out really cute. I would have liked, if I'd had some pink in my stash to match the pink speckles, or even green. I think I would have rather have gone with that, but I do like the way that it looks with the Napoli. Napoli is one of my favorite Madeline Tosh colorways, and I don't think they dyed anymore, which is too bad because it's such a gorgeous yellow, or orange rather, a gorgeous orange. So yeah, 2 little sweaters done, and I cast this one on Sunday evening, and I finished it on Monday. So super fast. I think they work on a size 8 needle, so you're knitting. It's fast knitting. So there are those little sweaters. They are slightly damp still. I'm hoping that they will dry soon because I'd like to get them shipped out. Amber already knows that the sweater is coming. I contacted her to get her address and to make sure she was okay with a perfect stranger knitting for her baby. So I'm hoping that she will like it when she gets it. And that is all that I have finished. I am so close to finishing Tatum's sweater, but I wanted to wait, much to Tatum's reluctance. I wanted to wait until today to podcast to show you what I am doing to her sweater before I finished it. So if you recall last week, I had the body done and one sleeve done, and I was getting ready to knit the second sleeve. So here is the first sleeve done, and if you recall, I am doing thumb sleeves. So they're really long, and they're supposed to go over her hand. They come to about here, and she can stick her thumb through. So there's one sleeve and the collar, and there's 2 sleeves, all done. And you'll notice the ends are already woven in and everything. So last week, I just had one sleeve left to do. The body was done. So if I have knit the second sleeve, and I have woven in all the ends, and the collar was done at the beginning, that's where the pattern starts. This is Flax, by the way, by Tin Can Knits, which is a free pattern, and starts with the collar, so you don't have any sewing to do. Then I should be done, right? I'm not. I'm not done. Because, again, if you recall from last week, there was a line right at the mid-belly section where I had changed skeins, and as a, like, poster child for the reason why you want to, you know, go back and forth between two skeins. I can't think of what that's called all of a sudden. Because with hand dyed yarns, because they, even if they look really close, even if they look exactly the same in the skeins, there's always a slight variation. So I didn't do that, and so when I changed skeins, there was a definite line. I'll post a picture so you can see it. And I was lamenting last week about the fact that that the sweater was slightly short, because I had worried that I was going to run out of yarn, and I wanted to make sure that that I had enough to finish the sleeves. And so I made it so that it was long enough for Tatum, like now, but I was making this in a size that was a size bigger than she is now, so that she could wear it for this winter and next winter. So if I made it the length that fit her now, then by next year it would probably be too short. But I didn't want to run out of yarn for the sleeves, so I figured, well, I'll just finish up the body now. Hopefully I can block it aggressively, and then it'll be fine. However, when I got through the first sleeve, it became apparent that I was going to have plenty of yarn left over for the body. So I was just going to take out the ribbing and lengthen the body. However, AOR Journals contacted me, and she mentioned that Fruity Knitting had done a recent episode where her daughters, it's Andrea, I think it's Andrea, Andrew and Andrea, Andrew and Andrea, that's Andrea. Her daughter had knit a sweater in pieces, the front and the back, and had made one too long. And so she went through and she cut and then grafted to shorten it. And so AOR Journals had thought that maybe that was something that I could do. I could kind of kill two birds with one stone by cutting where that color line was, and then adding some length there in the green, and then grafting it together. So I have the bottom, which isn't attached to anything, and then I have the body, the rest of the sweater, which isn't attached to the bottom. So what I did is, just like was suggested, I took and took smaller needles. I actually took some sock needles and put them on the sweater right above the line and then right below the line, and then I cut and unraveled, and so then I had two pieces. And then with this body piece, I added about 2 inches in the green. And I have done that, and it is all ready to go. And now I'm going to take it, and I'm going to Kitchener, or graft, the two pieces together. Now, yes, I've probably put in more work than had I just ripped out the ribbing, the 10 rows of ribbing, and added a couple of inches of stockinette and done the ribbing again. But, as I said, I'm killing two birds with one stone, because that line, which wasn't enough to tear all the way back to that line to fix, but now I've gotten rid of that line, so it does make the sweater look a little bit nicer. Plus, I get to use up more of the green, which I really like with the blue. So now I'm going to Kitchener that together. And I have taken video of it, of me taking it out, and I will hopefully get some video of me Kitchenering it, and hopefully you will be able to see that. But But yeah, I have done that, and so Tatum's sweater will be finished today. I will be doing that today, but I wanted to have it in pieces before I showed it to you guys, but I wanted to have it in pieces when I showed it to you guys, so that you could see kind of how that's working. So yeah, just got to do a little Kitchenering, and I'll be done. And I have got them right at the right place, so you won't be able to see it once I'm done with the grafting. That's the nice thing about grafting. And I have done this once before. I knit a tomato pattern. I don't remember the designer. I'll put it down below. And it was a similar problem that I had with this sweater that I was showing you guys last week, or a couple of weeks ago, where my purling. No, it actually is a different problem, because this one was, I just picked the wrong size. But my purling for the tomato was so much looser than my knitting. And that is a problem that I have always had. My purling is much looser than I knit. I knit continental, and I think it is a common problem for continental knitters, where you purl looser. So the way that the tomato was knit, is you did it back and forth, straight, flat, for a certain amount of time, and then when you joined the front, then you knit it in the round. So the body from where I joined it fit perfectly. However, the top, where I had gone back and forth, was super loose, and my gauge just looked bad. And so I didn't want to have to rip out the entire sweater, because it was top down. So what I did is I just cut the bottom off, and then re-knit the top, and then grafted it together. I think I even re-knit the top in a smaller size, and so I ran into a little bit of problem when I was grafting, because I was still a fairly new knitter. This was 7 or 8 years ago, and I didn't have the same stitch count or something. I didn't plan it out very well, and so it didn't ever really work out very well. Plus I knit it out of some bad cotton yarn, and it was kind of a fail sweater. But it was a learning experience, and I did find a way that I could kind of change things in a sweater even after they were done. It's a lesson that I'm glad that I learned, and it's a lesson that I've kind of used in other patterns. I had a lacy, what was it called? I had made the whole wheat cardigan. By Alexandra Charlotte back in 2013, and I'd made it out of Elsbeth Lavold silky wool, which was very pleasant to knit with. It's kind of a rustic yarn, but anyway, after I'd finished it, you knit it in pieces, and after I had sewn it together, I discovered it was way too big in the body. Like, it fit in the shoulders, but on the sides I just had too much space, too much fabric. And it looked bad, and so I steeked it, basically. Yeah, I sewed a steek on each of the sides, and then cut it off, and then sewed those pieces back together. I think I sewed the steek and then sewed it together to fit me, and then cut off. I think that's what I did. But yeah, it was a sweater that I was going to have to completely tear out and re-knit completely in order to get it to fit. And I didn't want to do that, so I figured out a more creative way to fix it. So yeah, anyway, that just kind of a quick lesson to let you know that there are ways to avoid having to completely change, tear out something in order to change it. And that kind of reminds me, I showed you guys this sweater that I had made a couple of years ago. This is splash of blue that I knit out of Cascade Eco, and I'll post the picture again. This is one that was too big in the shoulders, so it doesn't stay up, but it's a little bit too snug in the belly, because that's where I carry all of my weight, and so even if I lost weight, it was never really going to fit because it's, as I said, too big in the shoulders. So I've been trying to decide what I was going to do with this. I've gone back and forth about tearing it out and re-knitting it in a smaller size. But I think I finally decided what I'm going to do. I'm going to rip it out because it's just not doing anybody any good. But I'm not going to re-knit it into the splash of blue. As much as I love this pattern, I don't think that I want it again. So I am going to rip it out. I'm going to attempt to dye the yarn a different color because it's a very natural color, and I would love to have it in maybe a yellow, maybe. Still thinking about that. My initial thought was to go with like a burnt orange, but good grief, how many burnt orange sweaters do I need, right? And then I thought, well, what about blue? Well, but I have a bunch of blue sweaters as well. I'm really kind of surprised at how many blue sweaters I have, or yarn for blue sweaters. And I also have a lot of gray. So I'm either going to go with purple or yellow. I actually think I'm going to go with yellow, like a mustardy, maybe, kind of that yellow, not bright sunshiny yellow, but more like a mustard. And then I'm going to knit the fireside sweater, which has been a pattern that I have appreciated for a while now, and I think it's just going to be perfect for snuggling up here in our Colorado autumns and winters, and it's a pattern that is written for this yarn, so it's perfect for that. So yeah, I have, several years ago I purchased some jacquard acid dyes, and I had done it because I had thought, well, you know, one of these days I'm going to learn how to dye, and I never did. And then recently I did that Kool-Aid dyeing class at my yarn shop, and I loved it, and I thought, you know what, I would love to really learn how to dye. I wonder what I did with those dyes. I couldn't find them. I looked everywhere, and so I thought that maybe when I had moved here from California I must have destashed them, but I found them. I just found them. So I have 7 different colors of acid dyes. I don't know if they expire. I wonder if they do. I mean, it's just powder, so I would assume that they would be good for a while. Any of you who are knowledgeable in the ways of dyeing, let me know if they expire. But I have, I think I just went with like whatever I thought I would need. I think I went in on a group purchase with some friends. So I have sapphire blue, number 622. I have 629 emerald. I have 616 russet. Looks like it's like a brownie red. I have 604 burnt orange. Of course, my favorite color. I have 614 violet. And 635 brown. And then I have 601 yellow sun. So I'm thinking that I can take the yellow sun and mix it with something to get kind of a mustardy yellow, right? Maybe with the brown? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know how to make this into dye to put on yarn. I should take a class. I should take a class. I wish that Carrie lived nearby so that I could just go over to her house and have her teach me how to do this. Carrie, will you move to Colorado, please? I'm not asking for too much, am I? Anyway, so eventually I will attempt to dye the yarn that I rip out of the sweater, and then I will make a fireside pullover for myself. And I'm going to play with these acid dyes and see if I can't learn how to use them properly. I know that there's not much in there, but I want it. But I figure that'll give me enough to kind of fool around with. I can get some cheap bare yarn and learn how to dye, because honestly, my budget is not going to keep up with my need for new yarn colors. It's just not. It's just not. Everybody is coming out with their autumn colorways, and I'm dying because I want all of them, and I can't buy them all. I really want to, but I can't. Okay, so I kind of got off track. I'm sorry for that little tangent. Let me go back to the rest of my whips. I have 2 more whips, and they are both socks. The first one is my Bling Your String sock blank socks. Remember, I have the first one completely finished, and I am working diligently on the second one. I have just turned the heel, so I just have the leg left to do. And these have taken me forever, but just simply because these are like the last, like they're back burner socks, because I don't have to get them done before the end of the month, like I've had to do with some other things. And look, Erin, I have my little frog on a log progress keeper on them. He's cute. So anyway, this is what the sock blank looks like. It is her Kiss in Teal colorway, and I absolutely love the way that it is knitting up. And I have plenty left over to do the leg. So yeah, now that I just have the leg left to do, these should work out pretty quickly. I should have this pair done by next week. I'm expecting. I know that I don't have to have them done before the end of September, but I feel like I probably will. I mean, I have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 days left, and not including today, and that should be enough. Plus, I have started the one pair that I do need to get done before the end of September, and that is my socks for my box of socks KAL, which is run by Kristen of the Yarngasm podcast, and that is these socks. I got a little pumpkin. This progress keeper is from Nitty by Nature. She's a great progress keeper. You should check out her shop. This is A Million Stars, which is one of my favorite stripy indie dyers, and it is the Electric Boogaloo colorway. It is in her Gemini sock, which is an 80-20 merino blend, and it's just got these nice long, thick stripes, 2 colors, the blue and the green, and yeah. I started these last night. I already know they're going to knit up super fast because stripy yarn always does. It just really does. You're just like, okay, let me just finish this stripe. Oh, okay, I'll knit one more stripe. Oh, all right, one more stripe. So yeah, these I do have to get finished before the end of September because they're for my box of socks. And I don't want to fail now. I've gotten so close. And then I guess I'll talk a little bit about future knitting. I do have 2 non-sock projects that I am planning for future knitting. Future knitting being in October. I plan on knitting these things. I might start them, if I get both those pairs of socks done, I might start them in September, but I won't get very far into them. But you should see at least one of these cast on by next podcast. And the first one is another baby sweater. Nikki of the Woolly Elephant podcast, which is Heather, who is the mom, and Nikki, who is the daughter. Nikki is pregnant with her second, and she is having a little boy. I believe his name is Joseph. And like I said, I love knitting baby sweaters for people that I care about, and so I am going to knit the Weosaurus pattern, which is by... Hold on. You know, you would think that I would be smart and I would like write out show notes so I would have all this stuff available, but no. I'm sorry, it's the We Historic cardigan by Kate Oates, and I'll post a picture here. Is that not just the cutest thing you've ever seen? It's got a little dinosaur. I love it. I have knit this pattern before, and I absolutely loved it. I knit it a couple of years ago. I'll post a picture of the one that I made. And it's just fun, and I love it for little baby boys. It is knit out of fingering weight, so it's kind of like a, you know, a lightweight sweater, and Nikki and Heather live in the UK where they get sweater weather a lot, so I am going to make, I am going to knit the newborn size. The baby's due in January, but I'm going to be knitting it out of sport weight yarn, so it's going to be slightly bigger than the newborn size, and they should be able to use it through spring. So anyway, the yarn that I am using is Frabjous Fibers Wonderland Yarns in the Mad Hatter colorway, and then in the Mad Hatter base. Yeah, the Mad Hatter base. And the base, the main color is going to be this gorgeous teal for the main part of the sweater, and then for the stripes and the dinosaur, I'm going to be using this purple. Now this is the leftovers from my mom's, the extra that I had to get for my mom's sweater. And the colorway for this one is Phantasm. What is it called? Phantom Wise, number 29. So it's just a really gorgeous purple. And then this one is color Caterpillar, which is just a gorgeous blue. Very similar to Tatum's sweater, so not primary color blue, but teal. So I think that these are going to be really cute together. I think this is going to make really cute dinosaurs, and yeah, and it should knit up very quickly because, as I said, it's going to be a baby sweater. Baby sweaters do knit up so fast. So yeah, so I'm excited about that, and I am keeping that in my new Whimsy Stitches bag. I love this bag. It's got woodland creatures on it. And then because my children believe that everything should be equal, and because I have already knit Tatum sweater almost completely, Delaney is trying to be patient in waiting for her own sweater. So hers will be cast on next. And I am going to knit the KAL pattern by Jen Joyce Design. It's a very basic, kind of like the flax, only it's designed for bulky weight, and I'm going to be knitting it out of these two colors. This is primary blue, or I guess royal blue, and royal purple. This is Ella Rae Chunky Merino Superwash. The purple is colorway 39, and the blue is 34. I have 2 skeins of each. I'm hoping that will be enough. I do have some backup if I do need to. I've got a green that I think that I can put with this. And Delaney has requested that the sleeves be blue and the body be purple. So I'm going to do my best to make that happen. It is a raglan, but it is a bottom-up raglan, so I'm going to knit the body until it's time to join the sleeves, and then I'm going to knit the sleeves until it's time to join them to the body, and then I'll see what I can do about the rest, because with a raglan, you know, it's all this part is knit together. But I mentioned that to Delaney. I was like, well, it probably can only do that in one color there, darling, and she said, oh, that's fine. So she just wants this part to be purple and then the rest of the sleeves to be blue. So we'll see how that works out. It all depends on how much yarn I have and whatnot, but yeah, I will be doing those. And then I do have some socks next to show you for October rather. Can't believe it's almost October. I will be knitting my October Desert Vista Dye Works socks, and right now on Instagram I've got a poll requesting you guys to help me pick which pair I'm going to be knitting in October. One will be knit in October and one will be knit in November. So I have the Woody and Buzz, which is 250 gram skein, so one is Buzz and one is Woody. And then I also have Jan and Dean, either of these I would be happy to knit, but I'm just having a hard time picking which one. So if you follow me on Instagram, go over there and vote. And then I also have 2 Lolo Did It skeins that I need to get knit. Her hippo for the holidays. Both of these have to be knit by October 31st. They don't have to be knit into socks, but they have to be knit into something. So I'm not sure if I'm going to knit them both into socks. I may make something else. I thought about a hat or maybe some mittens. I don't know. Maybe they'll both be socks. But I have a hippo for Dia de los Muertes with a lucky matching heel-toe skein. And then I also have hippo for Halloween, which I absolutely love. And this comes with a troll hair mini. These ones will definitely be socks. I'm super excited about these socks. I'm not sure yet with this one. If you have any ideas of something quick that I can knit with a single skein of this, I would be happy to hear them. So yeah. Okay, that is all of my planned knitting, dream knitting as some people call it. I guess I can go into yarn haul. And I don't have a lot of yarn haul, I only have 2. One I bought on destash, and I had a couple of people ask me about destash the other day. I had mentioned that I had bought a couple of skeins of Woolmiza on destash, and a couple of people commented and said, what's that? Where do I find it? Destash is when somebody is selling their yarn that they have purchased on Ravelry. Not that they have purchased on Ravelry, but that they are selling it on Ravelry. And it's yarn that they have purchased before. And it generally is a couple of dollars cheaper than buying it from the original dyer. And it's a good way to kind of make up some of the money on a skein that you don't love anymore. As a seller, and that it is good as a buyer, because you generally find it a little bit cheaper than you would have from the dyer. Plus, it's a great way to get colorways that the dyer's not making anymore, or if it's a dyer that's like based on the other side of the world and their updates are in the middle of the night where you are, and so you always seem to miss them. This is a great way to get a hold of those yarns. So, generally, if like the dyer sells the yarn for $26, then you can find it on destash for $23 with US shipping. And international shipping is a little bit of an extra charge. And I look in destash fairly regularly. I always look in destash if I am trying to find a specific yarn that, like, I've run out or I need more to make a sweater that I want. I will go to the yarn stash page and then look under will, trade, or sell to see if anybody has the colorway that I am looking for a price that I would like to pay. You can also look at specific people's destash. Like if you went to my Ravelry page and clicked on my stash, and then you see the tabs across the top that say, in stash, all used up, will trade or sell, and then traded, sold, gifted. If you click on will trade or sell, then you see the yarns that I am willing to sell, and you can contact me or the person who is selling the yarn. You send them a message. They say whether or not the yarn is still available, and then they give you their PayPal address. You send them the money through PayPal, which is the safest way to do that. They print out the label through PayPal, the shipping label, and put it in the mail, and it gets shipped to you. It's a really easy process, and I have done it for years and years and years, and I have never once lost out on any money. So it's a great way to purchase yarn if you can't get it through the dyer. If you can't afford it, or you can't have it, you can't catch an update, or they don't dye that colorway. They don't dye anymore, because that happens a lot. There's some huge dyers that were in high demand, and then their companies went defunct, and so you can't find their yarn in stores anymore. They don't have a store anymore, and so the only way you can get it is on destash. It's great if the yarn that you have worked on your sweater and your one skein short is discontinued. You can often find destashes that way and find that yarn that you need. I use it a lot. Anyway, this is a skein that I found on Destash. I was showing you my October leaves mitts, and I had showed you that I had made them before, and I had made them out of this yarn, Big Mouth yarn, in the autumn leaves colorway. My skein had green, pops of neon green in it. This skein does not. It's just a gorgeous, like burnt orange brown colorway. But this is a yarn dyer that is defunct. Her shop is no longer in existence, and so I happened to just look at what other colorways she had and saw that somebody that I actually knew on Ravelry was selling it for a really reasonable price. This is an MCN, so it's super soft. And so I went ahead and bought her skein. Now I am a little bit saddened to see that it doesn't have the neon green in it. It was just like one section, one small section, so it's like every row you'd get just like little speckles almost of neon green. I am bummed that that isn't in this one, but it is still a very gorgeous colorway, and it will make a beautiful hat or something. It needs to be right here. I'll just tape it to my face. And then lastly, there have been several makers who have recently posted products that they were selling with the proceeds or portion of the proceeds going to help the victims of Hurricane Harvey or Irma, and Lauren at Lolo Did It was one of those makers. She put up for sale a special colorway. It was a mystery colorway, and all of the proceeds of the sales of that colorway were going to the victims of Harvey. And if I recollect correctly, I think all of the sales managed to raise like $26,000. It was a ridiculous amount of money. And I am so glad that I was able to be a part of that. So I purchased the skein, and it just came the other day. And I'm really honored that I was able to help the folks that were victimized by Harvey, but I'm also really, really excited about this colorway because it's a surprise hippo colorway. If you haven't gotten your skein, then you might want to look away, but here it is. And it's called Helping Hippos. And it's gorgeous. It's got all the colors, and I love it. And it also came with a little Lolo Did It measuring tape that says, "Thank you for helping people affected by Hurricane Harvey. Love, the Lolo family." And I'm just so in love. I'm so in love that she would do that. She didn't have to. She donated like everything. All proceeds went to those victimized by Harvey, and that was extremely generous of her. Extremely generous of her. So I did get that. And that's all my yarn haul. I've been really trying to kind of keep my purchasing down to a dull roar. I have not always been successful at that. I did buy 2 skeins of yarn just this week. One of them just this morning. Those will come. You see, I just slapped myself in the face. Such an idiot. So those will come in the next couple of podcasts. Okay, so that is all the knitting, all of the yarny content. I will now go into my books. So if you're not interested in reading, then you're free to shuffle off to Buffalo if you would like to. Although I don't know why you'd want to shuffle off to Buffalo. But anyway. So I don't have a lot to talk about with books. I am still reading the Land of Stories final book to my kids. We're not quite halfway through. I did finish the Shadow House series that I showed you guys last week, which was really good. A really good creepy middle grade horror series. Great for kind of like the ages 9 to 13, I would say. especially if they like scary stuff. Now Delaney hates scary stuff, so she has no interest whatsoever in reading them. Tatum, however, loves scary stuff, and it's so nice to be able to give her something that she can read that's going to scare her, going to give her the creepies, but isn't inappropriate. And she is in the second book now, and she is absolutely loving it. So that's really good. I'm glad to see her excited about reading. And yeah, so I did just finish this book, which, sorry, the glare. This is The Dead House by Dawn Kurtagic. This is one, there's a site called Sync, which gives out 2 free audiobooks, 2 free YA audiobooks over the summer. For every week of the summer, it's like 13 or 14 weeks, and they just give out 2 free audiobooks, and the lists are always, it's not like you get whatever ones they're offering. It generally is a more classic book and then a more contemporary book. Not always, but generally it is. And this was one of the books, and I happened to be out and about, and I had just finished the last book that I was listening to, and this was the only thing that I had that was scary, that was already loaded onto my phone. So I read this, and I got the hardback from the library because I like to follow along my page count on Goodreads. And I was really impressed with the audio. It's definitely a creepy book, and the audio is done really well. There are different voice actors, and there are sound effects, and it's just done really well. And then also, this book is done in mixed media. So there's diary entries and court transcripts and video transcripts, and it was done really, really well. And it's kind of trying to figure out what happened for this incident that happened 20 years ago, and it's all of this. It's like a case file. So it was done really, really well. It is creepy. It does deal with DID, dissociative identity disorder, and like demonic stuff. So if you have trigger issues with either of those, you might not want to read it. I do know a couple of people that had to stop reading it because it messed with their mental well-being. But I did find it very fascinating, and I went ahead and ordered a copy of the book for me to keep, because I know that I will go through and read it again. It was really interesting, and I have one more of her books on my shelf. I have And the Trees Crept In, which I was looking, also is a slight mixed media. So yeah, so I will read this one in physical form, and I'm excited about that. I am also excited about this book that just got released today. I pre-ordered it, so it came in the mail today. This is There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. Stephanie Perkins is a YA author who normally writes like contemporary romances. However, this is like a slasher film. It's supposed to be kind of like I Know What You Did Last Summer, or what was that other one? That other one with the ghost mask. I can't think of what it's called. Anyway, so I'm excited about this. I don't know if it's going to be cheesy. I don't know if I'm going to absolutely hate it. We'll see. But I am looking forward to reading it soon. And that is it for today. I do have some other books that I have read and other books that I am planning on reading, but this isn't a place for me to just unload about all the books that I consume, because there are too many. However, I do want to give you like highlights. So there is your highlight for this week. Alright guys, I'm going to clean up my mess and I am going to go eat lunch. I'm starving. I actually sat down to podcast and I was already slightly hungry. So now it's been like 2 hours later and I'm really, really hungry. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful rest of your day and happy knitting.